Welcome back to the Withlacoochee River Special. This is Weathering 101, and today what we're going to do is we're going to weather this here boxcar. It's a seaboard boxcar, simple mineral red boxcar, and what we're going to use is something a little different than say the conventional paint, airbrush, or anything of that nature. I'm going to use eye makeup. This one here has 12 different colors in it, all of them similar, but they're all earth tones. This kit here I picked up, I think, for $1. You always want to use the cheap eye makeup, as it tends to, powder out a little better on your rolling stock. The more expensive makeups have a different oil in them, and they tend not to work as well. So I picked this up at a Dollar General store for $1. You can pick up fairly cheap makeups at Walmart, and you can, in fact, this here from, it's called a CQ, I guess that's the name of the company. This one's called Raven. It's black, and that's of course the eye makeup equivalent of black is Raven. So without any further delay, also this one here, it also works well. It's only got 3 colors in it, but this one this is one that was left over by the wife. She had this, and she's no longer using it, so she gave it to me. I know how some of you guys might feel out there. If you're that embarrassed, you can have your wife purchase it for you. Just be sure and give her the money for it. But, you go into a Walmart and buy a little bit of eye makeup or a little bit of eyeshadow. That girl behind the counter isn't going to care. She might think you're a little weird, but she's not going to care. Hey, aren't us model railroaders weird anyway? I like to do things in a quick and dirty way myself. This here seaboard boxcar, this was a kit that I've just built. It's an old model die casting kit. Sure brought back a lot of memories putting this car together. It's a good looking car. Of course, the old model die casting kits were, well detailed for their time. This is a outside braced or single sheathed boxcar. It's got a new date of 4 of 1939 on it, so that that puts it squarely within the era of which I'd be running it. But since my layout depicts the 1950s, of course this car would have a few miles on it, would be weathered. Also, you got to remember, since there's exposed wood on here, or wooden parts exposed to the elements on this car, and steel bracing, the car weathers a little differently from your typical steel car. What we're going to do is we're going to start out with a little bit of rust and dust. And let me see if I can get this camera set up here. I don't have a remote on this camera, so can't really. But we're going to put a little rust and a little dust on the undercarriage of the car. If I can remember how these things open. Ah, there we go. And what you look for, first of all, is you want to put a little rust on the trucks. Well, like I said, you get primarily your earth tone makeup. Get it on in there. Yes, you can blow on it without blowing it off completely. And can you see that? I may have to turn the camera light on here. Get a little bit of rust on there. And you see it in relationship to the other truck. The other truck hasn't been done yet. But that's fixing to change. Because you come back over here, you get a little bit more. You can apply as much as you need. Remember, the trick with the eye makeup The trick with the eye makeup, now you want to get a little bit of dirt and grime, so, because now you want to come along the bottom of the car. Just get a little bit of dirt on the car. That's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about rusting everything up. It doesn't need to be rusted but you can see that the car is beginning to take on a different air here. Don't forget to get the roof of the car. You'd be amazed how many people sit there and weather up the sides of the car and forget all about the roof. But you got to remember, weathering works its way down. Next, we're going to put in a little bit of Raven here. The reason I got the Raven color was primarily for the exhaust stacks on diesels and stuff and steam engines. But it works well also in adding a little soot to the top of the car. Just add it on there. The advantage, another advantage that you have with the makeup is the more you handle the car, the more realistic the car looks. The more realism it just naturally takes it on. Now you see that that's beginning to get nice and dirty there, isn't it? Another advantage is you don't have to worry about putting a clear coat over it. You don't have to worry about the clear coat blowing it completely off because you don't need a clear coat. Eye makeup has a natural oil in it that causes it to pretty much stick, but it will rub off over time, and as you rub more and more of it off, the car takes on a little bit more realistic hue, but still retains its weathering. You can blow on it, it doesn't blow off. However, if you really wanted to take the makeup off, you can do that. And it really, you know, one of the things weathering does do is it brings out the detail in the car. Or locomotive, or whatever it is you happen to be weathering. Like I said, if you use several different earth tones, it makes it look like the car has been various places. You see, that's how that's beginning to look. A little bit different, huh? Here's what the other side of the car still looks like. Ah, pristine and new. Nicely weathered. One thing you don't want to forget is the end of the car. Since the ends on this car are steel, we're going to put a little surface rust on. Not much. You don't need to put much. Remember, this car is still an in-service car, even in the 1950s. The car is not yet 20 years old yet. And there she is. The car isn't completely done, but let's take a look and see how it runs in a train, shall we? Not bad, huh? Till next time, happy railroading.